you look at it on a scale of 1 to 10, and obviously 10 is being optimum, and 1 is being, there's some work to be done. Tell me where you're at on the first one, weight status.
Okay, so weight status, I am on the high side, good. I don't believe anybody can ever be a 10, but that's just my personal observation. So I'm going to say I'm at 8 to 9.
Okay, and let's talk about eating habits.
Eating habits, I'm at 8 to 9.
Okay.
Physical activity, I'm fair, somewhere between 5 and 6.
Okay.
Sleeping, I am good, 7 to 8.
Okay, and in sleeping, you're getting on the average of 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night?
That is correct.
Okay, good. So how about relaxation for you?
Relaxation, that's a different story. So when I say that, I'm going to say I'm on the high side of the fair side. So about a 6.
Okay. And then safe and healthy means that, work, home, or play, you feel safe.
Yes.
Yes, as in?
Yes, as in, I'm going to say good. So we're at 8.
Okay, good. Okay. So let's go through healthy mind. And this still pertains as, scale 1 to 10, 10 being the most optimum. Most relationship, where you think you're at this point?
I am on an 8.
Okay. And then attitude at work?
I'm going to say I'm closer to a 6 on occasion.
Okay. And then meaning and purpose, and this could be in general. It doesn't need to be that, a lot of people will ask me, well, meaning and purpose, does that mean at work? Well, no, meaning and purpose means just in general of your life.
Exactly. I appreciate you explaining that. So I'm going to say I'm a 7.
Okay.
Spiritual time, I am about a 3.
Okay. Okay.
Community service, I'm 3.
Okay.
Hobbies and fun, I am 1.
Okay. We're still there. Okay. So let's go on to the next. Healthy finances. And of course, we're still looking at 1 to 10. So abundance means you've got lots of, obviously, you have income-wise, you're able to do the things you're wanting to do.
Okay, Troy, define what you want to do.
Okay, so abundance means that you basically can go out and say you want to buy that new phone that's out, and that's not going to affect your financial situation. Abundance. Different things you're wanting to buy.
Okay, I'm at a 6.
Okay. And resources to minimize stress.
I'm at a 6.
Okay. Money management.
Money management, I'm high at a 10.
Okay.
And I shouldn't say a 10.
Wow, I need to learn from you then, Charlotte. That's pretty cool. At a 10.
Well, I manage my money so tightly.
Okay. Good. Money to do with what you want.
I would say that I'm a 7.
Okay. And resources to create memories and different experiences.
I'm at a 4.
Okay. Community contribution.
I'm at a 0.
Okay. Well, one's the lowest. Okay, let's go. So basically, if we look at, and I think it's supposed to hold up, isn't it, Rick, to where it comes up? I don't know if it did. Calculate. There it is. There it is. Good, good, good. Okay. Thanks, Rick. So if we look at the physical health, 46, you're good. Mental health, a little lower on the, between poor and fair. And financial, again, you're right at the fair mark. So, 107 would be obviously 107 would be in surviving and above average. So Rick, can you scroll up real quick? So let's look at this, Charlotte. First of all, if we talk about let's talk about healthy body, physical activity. So what kind of things would you in healthy body want to improve?
Well, I walk a lot. I do a lot of that kind of stuff, but I don't engage in the physical activity like working out at the gym and things like that, as opposed to other people do.
Okay. So would you basically look at, Charlotte, that physical activity, maybe to improve that, maybe more walks with the dog, and again, it doesn't have to be you have to go to the gym, but there's other things you can do in order to increase your physical activity.
Exactly. Like just even for 5 minutes a day using the stretch arm stuff and various other things.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So how about relaxation? I see sleep's good, and how about relaxation? What do you think in your mind could change with relaxation?
Trying to get my mind to check out from the day's activities.
Okay. And what would that be? How would you, in your mind, what do you think that, how would that look like for you if you're able to say, you know what, hey, the cell phones, computers, everything, I'm shutting down. I'm basically taking 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes or whatever it might be. Maybe it's middle of the day. Maybe it's end of the day. Maybe it's beginning of the day. Do you think that would help maybe a part of the relaxation?
Well, Troy, I appreciate you asking me that question because I'm doing a little self-development class that I've shared with you
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And so in the middle of the day, I take the time for 10 minutes, maybe 15,
Mm-hmm.
where I shut down everything.
Okay. Good.
And it's working tremendously for me, where
Okay.
I just check out. I have nothing going on, and it doesn't matter if the phone rings or anything else. It's a non-emergency.
Okay. Okay. So let's, Rick, can you go to the next one, please? So let's look at a healthy mind, Charlotte. If we look at maybe spiritual time, or even hobbies and fun. Let's focus on hobbies and fun because that's the least. That's obviously that's the one that needs the most work. So what would hobbies and fun to you? What would a hobby be for? I mean, in general, what you do now. What would you like to do more of?
Well, and see, that's what I'm trying to determine. Again, I'm going to refer back to what I'm trying to create with a personal development thing is I've never really had the opportunity to have hobbies and fun. I had hobbies with my kids, or I had fun with my kids and that sort of thing. Now I'm trying to recreate or create hobbies within my own life, and I don't know where to start. So I'm
Okay.
working on that tremendously.
Okay.
I'm hoping that at this point in time, next time when you ask me the question, it comes up from bad to at least fair or maybe good.
Okay. So, Charlotte, if we were to talk about that just in a little bit of detail, what things you maybe did in your childhood or growing up that you think, hey, I wouldn't mind bringing that back again.
Well, okay, so my story goes a little bit deeper because of everything that I won't say created in my life, but what I've been thrown into my life. And so I never really had time to define that. But that's where I'm trying to define it as to what those creativity activities, those habits and everything else that I can do at the end of the day or whatever. So it's a little bit of a struggle, and I think it's a struggle for everybody else also.
Right. Okay. So, and again, everybody that's on, so really what I'm doing in a sense, as I'm going through these things and looking at what what we filled out is that we're pinpointing maybe some weaker areas that we can bring a little light on and maybe shed a little light on for that individual. It doesn't mean we're creating that for them, but we're pointing that out, and that gives them a really good basis. So go next to healthy finance, please. So if we look at, Charlotte, if we're looking at maybe resources to create memories. You know, think about the things that you know that you and Rick's your husband, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, hold on a second.
So as your phone is going off, Troy,
It's not my phone. It was a feedback. Go ahead.
that's all right. So we can continue to focus on me. That's not a problem. But one of the things that last year at Go Global that I sat down in a group of people and I knew I was answering all these questions honestly. I have exceeded where I was 5 years ago based on where I'm at now with a couple of exceptions and stuff like that. But we actually sat down and had other people kind of do the same assessment on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that, how they viewed me, and it was different than how I viewed myself
Mm-hmm.
because of the perception. Does that make sense, Troy?
Absolutely. So basically what you're saying is that, you know, as you kind of look at what you really, Charlotte, are, you know, we're kind of outside looking in, and you're already on the inside. And so you can't really see a lot of these things. And that's something that, you know, people that, you know, like myself, when I'm talking with individuals, you know, I'm helping them show them how, first of all, maybe where they're at and something they didn't see, and really helping them create what they really can have.
Exactly. And not even creating what they can have, but how they perceive me.
Right.
So when I came home from Go Global, I asked my husband to fill out the same assessment that I filled out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you straight up, I told him he was lying. And he said, what do you mean? I said, that's not where we're at. That, you know, I mean, on a couple of things. And he says, I don't know if he was blind to it or he just was out of tune or whatever. So we were able to get it dialed in a little bit closer.
Okay. Rick, take us off share screen. I want, for the next 5 minutes or so, would like to have kind of open it up, and I want people to kind of ask me some questions in, first of all, maybe how they're utilizing and again, I just went over that in like 15 minutes. You know, we spent, you know, some fairly good time on it, but we're not really focusing on just one specific thing. We're kind of going in the understanding that, you know, we are, you know, there's only so much time you want to spend. You don't want to spend, you know, an hour and a half on, you want to spend, you know, that minimal time, 15, 20 minutes. And actually, I kind of got it down to where I spend right about 15 minutes with each individual, because it's important for them to kind of think about and process this. If they take it beforehand, say you have a coach, a brand new coach that you have coming in, and they have a potential client. You want for that new coach to do some of the work. You don't want to say, okay, I can do everything. You want to pass some of the responsibility onto them, but oversee it. So you're still going through that call. You're still asking questions, because as you're doing that, that new coach is writing down notes and understanding the kind of things that really will help and guide that potential brand new client through that process. And I think that's really important as we look at this, that, you know, the things that we're talking about right now is something that I think is with everybody that's a coach on this Zoom. You want to grow in your business. You don't want to just be at that point to where, hey, Troy, why am I not growing? Why is that? Because if you internalize everything, and when I mean that, when you are doing a call, if you're overtaking the call every time and you're not really teaching that brand new coach how to really grow and spread their own wings, they will want you to utilize you all the time. which means they're not learning. And so this business is about learning. We want to make sure each coach that's coming in is really learning and utilizing. And in all honesty, with the test, or I wouldn't say test, but with the wellness evaluation, it goes along with the wellness tracker. The wellness tracker is something that you as a coach is filling out as you're going through that wellness evaluation with that potential coach, potential client, whoever that is. Brian, you are on mute and now you're off mute, so I don't know if you had something to kind of add, or did you just come back in? Or maybe.
Troy, I had a question for you, and that is, where in the life cycle of a new client are you using this? Is this the initial contact, the first conversation? Is this after they become a client and before their first week? Where are you doing this?
Awesome, Joe. Great question. So now, as you are a coach now, okay, you are basically kind of thinking, okay, wait a minute here. Maybe you have 20 clients and you never addressed this with them, right? You've never talked about the wellness evaluation. Maybe on your celebration call, bring that in, right? But that brand new potential client or coach or anybody that you have not done the wellness evaluation with, I would strongly do that with them. And the reason why is because go ahead, Joe.
So the next steps, I'm just trying to think through I've got a call coming up with a pre-client. And we've scheduled, well, let's talk next Wednesday. Send them an email. Hey, here, fill out this form. And when we talk on Wednesday, it'll give us something to talk about. Versus the first time I actually get them on the phone, do you have 10 minutes to talk or 15 minutes to talk right now? Yes. Well, let's go through this. It'll give us a good idea of where you're at. Both scenarios are good, right?
Both scenarios are good. One's really not better than the other. One, if they fill out the wellness evaluation and they have it sent to you, it does save a little more time, but then it might not uncover and make them think right on the spot about the questions you're asking them, right? Because if you sent it a week before and they filled it out and you're going it over with them again, and maybe they've already filled everything out, then you're almost like doing double duty. Maybe they've gone through it, but then they're going through it again with you. So it kind of depends on, okay, maybe it's the day before you're sending that out with that person and they're filling it out, because it only takes maybe 5 to 8 minutes for them to do it and then send it back to you. But the nice thing about having it live, then you see where they're at, and then you're like, hey, so let's talk about this area. Yeah, maybe it might take a couple more minutes, but in reality, it's probably better to do it at the time. And I've done it.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get off here in just a second, but great job on what you're doing here. I think that the key here is for everybody to understand is that we're trying to get to build a relationship with this person and get to know them a lot better. And the sooner you do this, the better, I think, because I know when I'm talking to somebody and I'm sitting down with them, I'm asking them questions about their work, their family, what they want in their life, things like that. What this does is make it so where it's duplicatable for every coach to be doing that, because a lot of people don't ask the questions. And with this in front of them, they're going to ask the questions because they're kind of, and so like with a new coach, even coaches that have been around a long time, that maybe are not asking the questions. What I find is interesting is when people say, well, I'd like to sponsor more coaches. I really like to get more people involved. Well, what's happening in essence, if they're not seeing the numbers of, every 5 you get one, they're not asking the questions. That's really what's happening. They don't even, like, I've been on calls before where I'm like, okay, so before I get on the call, I want a little information about the person. And I'm like, so what do they do for a living? I don't know. Or what are they married? I don't know. See, this draws it out of them to where they can start thinking about, I like what some of the and where you were going with some of the questions, thinking about what they want. And what Charlotte said is very important, and most people don't even realize it, but people really don't even know where they're at until they start doing this. I actually did this assessment recently, and saw some areas of my life where I need to improve on, and I sent it over to Dan Bell. And I also did my map, sent it to him as well. But if you're not doing that, you're in fantasy land. You don't know where you're at, and you don't. And your people that you're working with, if you don't know where they're at, you're not going to be able to help them anyway. I mean, you might be able to help them with their health because that's what you're focused on at the time. But like we always say, we have a lot more than just better health physically. We have the 3 areas, so this gets everybody thinking. And I think the sooner the better. But anyway, with that, hey, great job, and just a little plug for Saturday. Make sure everybody's inviting. I only see like 11,000 invites on there, and I know you have the capability of inviting 500 because I just maxed mine out.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Good job, Troy.
Charlotte, you had something you kind of and this is important for all you guys because you want to say, hey, just like Brian said, Troy, my business isn't growing, and I'll look back and I'll say, okay, so what are we doing? Just like if I'm coming in a call, and maybe this is going to be a potential coach, and maybe you haven't done a wellness evaluation, and you don't really know what they're really wanting to create. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Well, how I look at the wellness evaluation, this is me being honest and whatever. Some people don't want to really be honest. And so when I did the wellness evaluation originally, I was so candidly honest, it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
I went, oh my gosh. Because I looked but then I had to set myself back and say, where was that 5 years ago or 10 years ago? And where am I at now? I had made leaps and bounds to where I'm at today, even though I'm not where I wanted to be, but I'm still okay.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's kind of like a non-scale accomplishment in the sense of I made those leaps and bounds, but I wasn't really where I wanted to be, but I know where I want to go.
right.
And so it gave me the opportunity to focus on what is the most important thing, where I need to be. Like I said, my community and everything else like that, it's down in the toilet. But how do I get there? And so how do I build those boundaries, not boundaries, but how do I build so that I can get to where I want to be?
Right. Thanks for that, Charlotte. And the other thing too, guys, is that, this is something of that building block. You want to build this big business, but if your business could barely stand because it doesn't have very good stability, then the building comes crashing down. So this, yeah, go ahead.
One thing I've tried to do with the few times I've used the wellness evaluation is when the people start having success, go back over it with them and see what they said originally and now the new reality and where they're moving to. And sometimes that's more successful. I wish I used it more often.
No, Don, that's a really, really good point, because what's interesting about that is I had a client today, and we went through the wellness evaluation, and he's like, I didn't want to copy that because then I can kind of see how my progression's going and where I'm going with that. And that's a good point, Don. Appreciate that insight. Anybody else have anything to add with that? Because I know we went over a little bit, but I felt that was really important. That's something that we don't talk about enough. Now, it is in files on the Coach to Health. So if you guys go to the top of Coach to Health, it's in the files category. Rick, you want to unmute yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you want to, and basically it's just in the files, right, Rick? It's right there, right.
Hang on just a second, and let me show you where it's at. So yeah, just because
That way you guys are really clear on what, crystal clear on.
Okay, so in the Coach to Health Facebook page, under the files right here, this is at the top of the page. If you click on the files and drop down, you will see the wellness evaluation writable PDF. There's 2 of them in here. The one that we were on tonight has all of the embedded radio buttons to where they're clickable. The one that is on Take Shape's website, the one that you guys will get during the training, doesn't do that. We have the only modified version of this that actually works. This is where it's found. So real important. If you want to send it to a client and have them fill it out, then send them this one. And just by looking at it, the one that you want is by Ed Beck, okay? Because he is, I'll give him credit, he is really the one that modified it to make it work, okay? So the wellness, well-being evaluation, writable PDF, get it from Coach to Health, not from your Office of Motion. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks for that, Rick. Appreciate that. Well, hopefully that will help guys, help you in the understanding that, really how to utilize a, the wellness evaluation, because that's something that I just thought, a little role play would be really good for you guys. So that's all I got tonight. Anybody else have anything? I'm going to let you guys go because, we made it a little bit too long tonight, and I didn't want to have too much, in depth on anything. I wanted you guys to get back to your families and other things and activities that you were doing. So appreciate your time. Hopefully everybody will see you on Saturday morning. That's going to be a great call, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. I'll also put it up on Coach to Health for you too. Thanks, guys.